Welcome back to Sawtooth Tactical. Joe Biden finally closed the gun show loophole. That was never really a thing. So this really happened. This is really going down. Within the next 30 days, it's going to be in place. They just passed legislation. This has to do with who is engaged in the business of being an unlicensed firearms dealer. And the whole point of it, and I've got this whole article here about it, is because that they say that so many people are buying guns at gun shows and online without having to pass a background check. Well, let me tell you, from somebody who has bought guns online, you still have to pass a background check. They keep lying to the American people, saying that, acting like nobody is getting background checks done. In order to buy a gun, you have to get a background check, a 4473, and even that is unconstitutional and shouldn't be a thing, but it already is. What they are doing here accomplishes nothing good, and it's just another infringement on our rights. The sale of firearms on the internet and at gun shows in the U.S. will in future be subject to mandatory background checks, the Justice Department said on Thursday as it announced a historic new action to keep weapons out of the hands of criminals. These guys just don't seem to get it. For one, that's a straight up lie. Like I said, I have bought firearms on the internet. They still have to be shipped to your FFL. You still have to do a background check. There's no such thing as buying a gun on a website on the internet and not going through a background check. For two, and we've said this many times on this channel, criminals are going to criminal. You're not going to stop somebody that doesn't care about following the law from selling a gun to somebody without doing a background check, no matter what kind of bill or law or executive action that you pass. That's not how it works. Somebody that's breaking the law doesn't care about your laws. I don't know why that is such hard logic for them to understand. And I think that all this stuff is mostly just for show, but it's also slowly chipping away at our Second Amendment rights. And this is the thing. This is going to give them more legislation to fall back on in order to jam up people like you and me that are doing absolutely nothing wrong. So basically, they are making everyone that sells a firearm engaged in the business of selling firearms. Or basically, if you sell a gun and you're not a FFL, you are now illegally an unlicensed gun dealer. It has always been legal to do a private sale, a private transaction between friends, between anybody really. All you have to do is ask them if they're a prohibited person, if they're a violent felon or whatever. And if they tell you no, that is good enough. But apparently not anymore. And so the majority of us, the majority of almost everybody, they buy their guns from FFLs, whether you get them online or not. Like I said, I have ordered guns online. Got this Glock frame online. Got this AR online. But you know what? They shipped to my local FFL, Guffey's Gun and Pawn. I paid a transfer fee, filled out a 4473, had a NICS background check run, and then when I was approved, I was able to take those home. The same as if I'd picked them out at the store. And they try to make it so that the general public doesn't understand how that process works. But it's the same thing at gun shows. If you go to a gun show, any vendor there is going to make you go through a background check. Now, yes, there might be a few people walking around trying to get rid of some old gun that they have and get more money than it's worth out of it probably, that would do a private sale. I'm sure that happens. But the majority of people, the people that pay for tables at the gun shows, they don't want to get in trouble. They are running NICS background checks because they are gun dealers. There is no gun show loophole. Quick word from this video's sponsor. I've been using Aura now for a couple of months. I know you guys have seen it in my videos if you've been watching, and it's a product and a service that I really actually believe in at this point. It has totally stopped me from getting spam calls. Now, data brokers are a real thing these days. Scammers, spammers, all this stuff. I've been trying to sell a pickup truck lately, and at first all I was getting was scammers. Well, Aura took care of that, and I'm not hearing from the scammers anymore. Unfortunately, I still haven't sold the truck, but I've got a lot of examples like that. In fact, the place where I work just recently got scammed and we lost out on a whole day's worth of revenue. Well, Aura can stop things like that from happening. They search the entire internet for anywhere where your information is being sold to people, and they submit opt-out requests on your behalf, which takes care of your information being out there. It clears you up so that you stop getting spam calls, you stop getting scammers. There are people out there these days whose whole career is just scamming people out of their money by finding their information on the internet. And as sickening and as sad as that is, it's a reality. And for only $12 a month, you can stop them from being able to take advantage of you. If you use my link, which is the first link in the description, aura.com/sawtooth-tactical, you get to try it out free for 2 weeks. And then you can decide if it's something that you still want to stick with. But Aura is pretty confident that you'll stick with it, and that's why they give you that 2-week free trial. $12 a month after that is a really good deal for all of the different things that you get with Aura. I've been sticking with it for a few months. I'm really happy with it. I respect my privacy and I respect yours. According to this new rule, or new law, or new executive action, whatever they want to call it, apparently about 23,000 more individuals will be required to be licensed as a dealer after the rule's implementation. 23,000 people that are currently not gun dealers that they think are gun dealers. I read this whole article and they talk about how many guns are sold in the United States every year without a background check. Which, for one thing, how do they know? If there's not a background check done, they have no idea how many there is. So they're making up a number to scare people. For two, like I said, it is totally legal to do a private sale without a background check. It always has been. Until fairly recent history, there was no such thing as a NICS background check. I mean, that hasn't been going on for all that long. I think since the early 90s. And things are just fine. There's really not any very good reason for it. But unfortunately, it is what it is. And I get it. Yeah, they want to keep guns out of the hands of violent felons. But they're never going to do that. If someone is a criminal, and I know I keep saying this, they're going to get guns whether they go through a background check or not. And in fact, this just forces them more into the black market. If they have to get a background check to get a gun, they're going to get it from someone that's not going to require a background check. And do you think that person is going to register as a federal firearms license dealer? Probably not. The Biden administration is doing everything that they can to get more and more gun control through before, hopefully, their reign of terror is over. Because they just want to infringe on our rights as much as possible. And be careful who you vote for coming up in this election. While maybe both sides of the aisle, Republicans and Democrats, neither of them have been great for our Second Amendment rights. The Democrats specifically are going after our Second Amendment rights. And we need to make sure that they stay out of office. If Joe Biden wins again, and then in 2 more years, they get a majority in Congress, we're going to be screwed. This is a big priority of theirs to pass as much gun control as possible because they don't believe in the Constitution. It shall not be infringed is very clear to me, but apparently it is not to the Biden administration and the Democrats that are running this country and trying to take over. They don't want us to own anything that's sitting on the wall behind me. And I've got a couple quotes here. This one's from Merrick Garland. This regulation is a historic step in the Justice Department's fight against gun violence. It will save lives. Well, again, no, it won't, because criminals will find ways to get guns without going through an FFL. And from our favorite, Stephen Dettelbach, it's not safe for innocent law-abiding Americans. In fact, it's doggone dangerous. That was Stephen Dettelbach talking about people buying guns without getting a background check done. Well, again, it comes down to, most people that buy guns are just trying to protect their families. And for the most part, you're going to have to get a background check. I've had to get a background check on every firearm that I've ever gotten, except for one that was given to me by a good friend a military veteran. He knows that I could pass a background check. Obviously, I've got plenty of firearms already. He had it legally, and it was a private transfer. It wasn't even a sale. He gave it to me. But you know what? Every other gun here, it's a .22 revolver. I had to pass a background check. And so does everybody else that buys guns regularly. The only people that aren't going through background checks, besides something like that, are criminals anyway, and they're going to continue to do the same thing no matter what the law is. But what this does is it gives them ways to get law-abiding people in trouble. You or me now, we do a private sale to a friend, we could possibly get thrown in prison for it. And that's exactly what they want. You get a felony, you don't have the right, you do in my eyes, but according to the government, you don't have the right to keep and bear arms anymore. And you're locked up, and they take all your money. They screw your life up. And so this is just another way that they can find a way to screw your life up. They literally just went and shot a guy in the head that was an airport director because he was selling firearms without background checks. Now, I don't know that guy's whole story. I've seen some stuff about it. Sounds like maybe some of the things he was doing wasn't on the up and up. But did he deserve to be shot in the head for it? No. And more laws like this give them more reasons to kick in your door at 3 a.m. and shoot you in the head because you're doing what they say you shouldn't be allowed to do. I just wanted to bring you guys this today. Let me know down in the comments what you think about this. This isn't even something we can fight anymore. This has gone into place. They had a 3-month period and they had 388,000 comments on the website of the ATF. You want to bet how many of those were negative comments against this? But it doesn't even matter. How many negative comments against the pistol brace rule were there? And they still went through with that as well. Luckily, we're beating it in court. But the comment period's a joke. We can say anything that we want, and they still go through with whatever they want to do. But I still want to know what you guys think. I'm going to try to reply to every comment that I can. I love you guys. I appreciate you for watching my videos. Give me a like if you like this. Make sure you share it. Make sure you subscribe to Sawtooth Tactical. If you want to support the channel, join Aura. 2 weeks free with my link. First link in the description. And from Sawtooth Tactical, stay strapped or get clapped.